Okay, let's dive right in. Welcome to our 5-minute guide to mastering English. We're going to tackle some of the trickiest parts of the language and give you a really clear path forward. You ready? Let's go. So take a look at these words, rough, though, and bow. They all end with O-U-G-H, but, they sound completely different from each other. This is a perfect example of why English can feel so random. It can be super frustrating for anyone learning the language. And this is a question pretty much every learner asks. So if you're wondering this, you are not alone. The thing is, the language is a total mashup of history. It's got Germanic roots, a huge dose of French, and a bunch of Latin thrown in. The result? A kind of beautiful chaos.
But hey, don't worry, we've got a roadmap. In the next few minutes, we're going to hit these 4 key areas. We'll start with how you sound, then get into the rules, tackle some tricky words, and wrap it all up with real-world conversation.
First things first, pronunciation. Because let's be real, if people can't understand the sounds you're making, even the most perfect grammar in the world won't help you. And the real secret to being understood? It's all about the vowels.
Now, this might look a bit technical, but think of it less like a chart and more like a map for your mouth. You can forget about memorizing all the symbols. The key thing to know is that a tiny shift of your tongue, from the front to the back or from high to low, can completely change the sound. It's a physical guide.
And this right here shows you exactly what I mean. Take a look at luck versus law. The only real difference is how open your mouth is and where your tongue sits. Or how about full and foot? It's such a tiny physical change in your mouth, but it creates a whole new word. This is exactly why getting those vowels right is so important. Okay, now that we have a solid foundation with pronunciation, let's jump into our second section, grammar. And please don't think of this as a list of boring rules. Think of grammar as the instruction manual for building really clear and powerful sentences. Let's unlock a couple of the most common challenges. So this one trips up so many people. Here's the deal. When you say the number of, you're talking about one single amount. So you use a singular verb, like is. But when you say a number of, you just mean several or many, so you need that plural verb, like are. Such a tiny change, but a huge difference in meaning. And here's another quick and powerful rule for you. In is all about static location. Something is already there. My documents are in the file. Into is all about movement. Someone or something is entering. She walked into the office. So one shows position, the other shows action. Simple, right? Now for the really fun part, those tricky words. English has all these little word puzzles that can totally trip you up, but I promise, once you see the pattern, they're not nearly as scary. Let's solve a few. Okay, our first type of puzzle is the homophone. Big word, simple idea. It's when you hear one sound, but it can mean 2 or even more completely different things. When you're talking, the only clue you've got is the context of the sentence. Just look at this. You sell something from a present cell. You want a piece of peace. An object that is stationary isn't moving, while stationary is what you buy for your desk. When you're just listening, the sound is identical. Context is king here. All right, the next puzzle is basically the opposite. These are homographs. Same exact spelling, but now the pronunciation changes, and that completely changes the meaning. This one can be tricky for both reading and speaking. For example, the wind blows outside, but you wind a clock. Or think about this. A minute is 60 seconds, but a minute detail is a really, really tiny one. In these cases, how you say the word is the only thing that tells your listener what you actually mean. Okay, let's bring all this stuff together. Because knowing the rules is great, but sounding natural and polite in a day-to-day conversation, well, that's the real goal, isn't it? It's about connecting with people, not just about being grammatically correct. I love this idea of a ladder of politeness. When you ask for something, you can actually control how formal you sound. Can you help me? Is direct. It's informal. Could you help me? Is a little step up, a bit more polite. But for a really formal situation, try, I wonder if you could help me. This little progression shows you really have a command of the social side of the language. And hey, don't forget to have some fun with it. Using phrases and idioms makes your English so much more colorful and natural. So if you're ready to listen really carefully, you're all ears. If someone tells a secret, they spilled the beans. And if you're just completely confused, you're at your wit's end. And this brings us right back to where we started. This quote says it all, doesn't it? You can know every single word and every grammar rule in the book, but if your pronunciation isn't clear, your message just might get lost. It all starts with sound.
So we've mapped out the vowels, we've cracked some grammar, solved a few word puzzles, and navigated a conversation. The journey to fluency is really just a series of small steps. So the only question left is, which little puzzle piece are you going to pick up next?